All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think every parent struggles with at some point.
Getting those kiddos moving.
Exactly. How to get them moving without it turning into, just a chore.
Right.
And we're going to be looking at this awesome source, why cardiovascular fitness is crucial for kids, and 21 fun ways to get their hearts pumping. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to give you a ton of really creative and fun ideas for how to get your kids to be little cardio champions.
Yeah. This source is really cool because um, it goes a little bit beyond the basics, and I
Yeah.
think it really highlights some of the benefits you might not think about right away when you think about cardio.
Okay. Well, what are some of those benefits?
Well, one thing that really stuck out to me is how good it is for the brain.
Oh, wow.
Like, it really helps kids focus better and even just overall cognitive function.
Really?
Yeah, there's even studies that show that kids who do moderate cardio for just 30 minutes a day actually do better in school.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just about the body, it's about the mind, too.
Exactly. And it helps with their mood and their sleep and even with dealing with stress.
Okay, so you've sold me cardio is a must for kids. But how do we get them actually excited about it? The words cardio workout, that's not really like the most fun thing in the world for a kid.
Right.
I feel like they'd rather just, sit and watch TV or play video games.
Well, that's where I think this source shines. They have this idea of what they call the cardio fun factor method.
Cardio fun factor.
And it's all about basically making it an adventure and not a chore.
That sounds much better than workout routine, for sure.
Yeah.
So what is that all about?
Well, it uses a lot of things like, playful warm-ups,
Huh.
maybe doing some silly dances or even walking around like animals.
Oh, I love it.
And then maybe incorporating like stories into the activity. So
Mhm.
instead of just jumping jacks, they're like jumping over lava
Oh, wow.
or they're, flying like a superhero.
So we're using their imagination and making it into like a game.
Yeah. And also having them do it with other people. So it's not just like a solo thing,
Yeah,
playing games with their friends, team challenges, partner exercises,
that makes sense.
that kind of thing. And then also having them, alternate between high intensity and low intensity so that it kind of keeps it fresh. It's not just like one long slog,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
What about the cool down? How do we make sure they end on a positive note?
Yeah. Well, this source is really big on having like a rewarding cool down. Maybe a
Yeah.
fun stretching routine with their favorite music, or even just some quiet time for them to just like, chill out and relax.
Oh, I love that.
So they end feeling good.
So this source lists 21 activities. What are some of your favorites from this list?
Oh, well, animal movement adventures is just the cutest thing.
Yeah.
You can picture little kids hopping around like bunnies or crawling like bears,
Oh my gosh.
slithering around like snakes.
It's like a trip to the zoo in your own home.
Right. And it's great for, helping them build their strength and coordination.
And you can do it anywhere, right? You
Yeah.
don't need any equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
good for like 4 to 10-year-olds.
Okay, perfect for that age.
Yeah.
And how about just like a classic dance party? Just put on some music, let them loose.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic for a reason.
I mean, who doesn't love a good dance party?
This source even talks about adding some extra fun to it. Maybe choreograph something or do a freeze dance,
That's fun.
that kind of thing. And what's cool about dance parties is they're really easy to adjust for different ages and abilities.
Hmm.
Little kids can just kind of wiggle around, and older kids could maybe even try learning a routine.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and you know what? I bet parents will love this next one. Treasure hunt exercise.
Yeah, that's a really clever one.
You can get them moving without them even realizing they're exercising.
Right. Basically, hide clues, and then each clue leads to an exercise challenge.
Oh, fun.
Like, do 10 jumping jacks or run to that tree.
So it's like a real life video game.
Exactly. And then you can even do team challenges with that, which is
Mhm.
great for getting them to work together.
So many benefits. Okay, this next one, I know a lot of kids are going to love superhero training camp.
Oh, yeah, that one is a winner for sure.
Imagine like having your kids, flying around the room,
Doing super jumps.
practicing their super strength.
Exactly.
Can't do of it. Yeah.
Doing push-ups and things like that. It's great for like 4 to 10-year-olds.
Perfect. Now we're getting into the slightly older kids.
Yeah.
How about sports skills circuit?
Yeah, so that's a really cool way to, get them exposed to all sorts of different sports.
Yeah.
Dribbling a soccer ball, bouncing a basketball, practicing tennis swings.
I love that it's like a little mini Olympics.
Right.
You can see what they really like.
Yeah, what really clicks with them.
Yeah.
And, one thing I really want to emphasize with all of this is just how important it is to make sure whatever you choose really matches
Yeah.
what your kid is into and what they're capable of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
because you don't want it to be overwhelming or feel like a chore.
Right.
It's all about having fun and, challenging them just enough, but not too much. And, another important aspect of all this is safety, which we can talk about in just a little bit.
So we've talked about a lot of really fun activities, but before we get too carried away, let's talk about safety. We want to make sure that these kids are exercising safely.
Absolutely. It's one thing to have fun, but we don't want anyone getting hurt. And this source actually lays out a really good framework for doing that. They call it the safe movement method.
Okay, safe movement method. I like that. Easy to remember. So what does SAFE stand for?
So it stands for start with a proper warm-up, assess fitness levels individually, focus on form over speed, and secure proper hydration and rest periods.
Okay, so basically taking the time to make sure that they're warmed up, that they're doing things properly, that everyone's at their own level and not pushing themselves too hard.
Right. And making sure they drink enough water and take breaks
Mhm.
when they need them, especially, when they're really giving it their all.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about consistency because we can do these activities every now and then, but how do we make it a part of their routine, like a regular thing that they just do?
Well, one thing that this source emphasizes is scheduling. So just like you schedule, doctor's appointments or play dates,
Yeah.
actually schedule time for physical activity.
Okay, so like actually blocking out time for a workout every day.
It doesn't have to be like a whole hour or anything. Even just 15 to 20 minutes a few times a day can make a big difference. And it doesn't have to be like a super structured, formal workout.
Right.
It's just about getting them moving.
So like even just, quick dance party in the middle of homework time or a game of tag after dinner.
Exactly. And mix things up, do something different every day so they don't get bored.
Yeah, I love that. And this source also talks about adapting activities to different ages, abilities, even different environments.
Mhm.
So, can you give us some examples of what that might look like?
Sure. So let's say you've got a 5-year-old who's like a little ball of energy,
Mm-hmm.
but you live in a small apartment. You don't exactly have a ton of space to set up a giant obstacle course,
Right.
but you could still do like a mini obstacle course using, pillows and blankets and the furniture.
Oh, that's so fun.
Just get a little bit creative.
Right.
Or if it's raining, you could do some musical movement games inside.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you designate different areas of the room as running spots,
Okay.
and then you have them race to a spot when the music changes, or play freeze dance.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What about older kids who maybe aren't that into sports or structured activities?
Well, that's where you got to think a little bit outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they interested in? Maybe they love video games, so you could do like an obstacle course inspired by their favorite game.
Oh, that's fun.
Or maybe they're really into nature, so you could plan a hike or go to a botanical garden or something like that.
So, finding ways to make it fun and interesting for them.
Exactly. And what if you have like a mix of ages and abilities?
Mhm.
Some kids are older, some are younger, some are more athletic than others.
Yeah. How do you find something that works for everyone?
Well, one activity that's really versatile is jump rope challenges
Oh, yeah.
because you can adjust the difficulty, start with basic jumps and then work up to more advanced stuff.
And it's something that most people have at home already.
Yeah, it's a really good workout and you don't need any fancy equipment.
Mm.
And it's also a really good opportunity to encourage social interaction,
Mm-hmm.
get kids playing together.
Yeah, because doing things together is always more fun.
Right. And it teaches them about, working together and being a good sport and all that good stuff.
Definitely. So games like tag are always a classic.
Oh, yeah, tag is great. And there are so many variations you can do. This source even suggests things like freeze tag, but you have to do an exercise to unfreeze yourself. Or color tag, where different areas of the yard are different colors, and you have to do different movements depending on what color you're on.
I love that. It's taking a classic game and giving it a fitness twist.
Exactly. And what's great about all of this is that it's not just about exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It's about helping kids develop a love of movement. Just finding joy in being active.
And that's what will make it stick, right? It's not a chore, it's something they enjoy doing.
Right. And speaking of making it stick, I think it's also important to celebrate their effort.
Yeah, that's a good point. We can focus so much on winning or being the best that we forget to just acknowledge how hard they're trying.
Exactly. So instead of saying, oh, you're so fast or you're so strong, focus on things like, wow, you're really working hard, or I'm so proud of you for not giving up.
Yeah, just celebrate their effort and their improvement no matter how big or small.
Exactly. And create a positive environment where they feel comfortable trying new things and even making mistakes.
Because that's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. And hopefully that will help them build a love of movement that will last a lifetime.
So, what are some specific things that parents can do to get started? Like, what are the next steps?
Well, luckily, this source has a whole section on that. Welcome back, everyone. So we've talked about all the amazing benefits of cardio for kids, we've explored a bunch of fun activities, and we've touched on safety and consistency. But now let's get to the nitty-gritty, like how do we actually put all of this into practice?
Yeah. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually do it right.
Exactly. So luckily, this source has a really helpful next steps section
Hmm.
that kind of gives us like a roadmap for success.
Yeah, it's super practical and actionable. Any parent or caregiver can use this.
Okay, so let's break it down. What's the first step on this roadmap?
Well, the first step is to choose your activities carefully. So
Mhm.
remember that list of 21 ideas we talked about.
This source says don't try to do everything at once. Just pick 2 or 3 activities to start with and make sure they really fit your child's age and interests and you know what you have available.
Okay, that makes sense. So quality over quantity.
Exactly. It's all about finding those activities that your kids will really enjoy and that will give them a good workout without feeling like a chore.
So what's the next step?
So step 2 is all about making it a habit.
Okay.
So just like you schedule doctor's appointments or play dates,
Yeah.
you know, actually schedule time for physical activity.
Okay, so like actually put it on the calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Because if it's not on the calendar, it's easy to forget about it.
that's true. So how much time are we talking about here? Like an hour every day?
No, it doesn't have to be that much.
Yep.
This source recommends at least 30 minutes most days of the week, but you can break that up into smaller chunks throughout the day.
Okay, so even 10 or 15 minutes here and there can make a difference.
Exactly.
Well,
And don't forget about everyday activities that get them moving, like walking the dog or helping with yard work.
yeah, that all counts. Okay, what about equipment? Do we need to go out and buy a bunch of stuff?
No, not at all. Remember, a lot of those activities we talked about don't require any equipment at all,
That's true.
like, dancing or animal movements.
Right?
And even for things like obstacle courses, you can just use stuff you have around the house.
Yeah, pillows, blankets, furniture, get creative.
Exactly. And you know what? Get the kids involved in setting things up.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They'll be more excited about it if they helped create it.
So what's next?
Okay, so step 4 is all about making it social.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, invite friends over, siblings, neighbors, cousins, anyone who wants to join in the fun.
Yeah, because it's always more fun to do things with other people.
Right. And it's a great way for kids to learn social skills, like how to communicate and cooperate and be a good sport.
Definitely. Okay, so what's the final step?
The final step is to celebrate progress and effort.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, because sometimes we get so caught up in the end goal,
Mm-hmm.
like how fast they can run or how high they can jump.
Right.
But it's important to acknowledge how hard they're trying and how much they're improving.
So instead of focusing on winning or being the best, just celebrate their effort and their progress no matter how big or small.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And create a positive and supportive environment where they feel good about moving their bodies no matter what their skill level is.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the big takeaway here is that getting kids moving doesn't have to be complicated or a chore.
It can be fun, it can be playful, and it can be an adventure.
Exactly. So to all of you listening, I hope this has given you some inspiration and some practical tips to get your kids moving. And remember, the most important thing is to just have fun.
And as you go out there and start incorporating more movement into your kids' lives, I'll leave you with this thought. What if instead of thinking of exercise as a chore, we thought of it as a gift of health, a gift of energy, a gift of joy? What kind of impact would that have on our kids and on ourselves? Keep exploring, keep playing, and keep those little hearts pumping.